Hello everyone, it's Sandra and welcome to today's video. It's that time again. It's time for empties and new products. If you are new here, welcome. It's so great to have you. I love luxury beauty products. I also love using products up to the last drop, and I like to encourage you to also use what you have. Empties and new products is essentially the love child of an empties video and a haul video. I will be sharing with you the products that I have used up and the new and exciting products that have taken their place in my routine. Let's get started with hair care. I have a couple of hair care, scalp care empties. The first being the Biologique Recherche Lotion P50 Capillaire. This is a liquid exfoliant, a chemical exfoliant for the scalp. It comes in this big bottle with a spray nozzle. Before you wash your hair, you spray this on your scalp, massage it in, leave it on for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then wash your hair, proceed to wash your hair, condition your hair as normal. I really loved this product. This is probably the second or third time I had repurchased it. One bottle usually lasts me about a year, a little bit over a year, but it is very, very, very expensive, and there are so many alternatives on the market that do similar things. So I thought I would play around and try some new stuff. So I had tried the Briogeo Scalp Revival Charcoal plus Coconut Oil Micro Exfoliating Shampoo. Now this is a shampoo with a scalp exfoliation element in it. I mean, I used it all up, but it had has this beautiful minty scent, and it had very, very, very fine exfoliating particles in it, and it was great. It was a very efficient, almost clarifying shampoo without the harsh side effects of typical clarifying shampoos. I never felt that this was overly drying or overly stripping on my hair. I overall really enjoy it. I can see why this is a favorite for so many people. The product that I'm using right now is a product that I had seen Vanessa from Goals to Get Glowing on Instagram. I feel like I talk about her every single video. She was talking about how much she loves this product. This is the Sunday Riley Clean Rinse Clarifying Scalp Serum. So this is what I bought, and this is what I've been using for the last month or so. Again, it's a chemical exfoliant. This contains glycolic acid. It contains salicylic acid. It also contains clay. The texture of it is, it's not as liquidy as this. It's like a serum. It's like a serum texture, which is great because it's not runny. It kind of just stays where you put it. So it's just really easy to part my hair, apply this on the parting. It doesn't run down my face. I don't risk it getting into my eyes or anything. It kind of stays put, and then it's really, really easy to massage and distribute. You leave it in to do its thing for about 3 to 5 minutes, then wash the hair as usual. And I use this about once a week. Sometimes I just use it every other week. And I really, really love this. Out of all the others, this is the one that I really noticed an improvement with in regards to the oil production of my scalp. This has made a big difference in my balancing out the oil production, which is great. Also helps keep, any flakiness at bay. I don't get any itchy, flaky scalp with it. It is so great. It's not a must-have in your hair care routine, but it is a nice to have, especially if you're somebody that uses a lot of styling products, especially if you use a lot of dry shampoo. It's nice to kind of give yourself a little clarifying scalp exfoliating treatment every now and then to help get rid of that buildup and help keep your hair follicles nice and healthy. Totally see myself repurchasing this. Moving on to skincare, I have these two makeup removing products that I had purchased at the beginning of the year. I knew I had some travel coming up, and these came in very handy travel sizes, and they are both from Biologique Recherche. I bought the eye makeup remover and the Micellar water. Totally, totally unnecessary purchases. These didn't do anything special. They didn't do anything that a less expensive alternative doesn't do. And actually the eye makeup remover smelled so weird. I just went back to my trusty La Roche-Posay eye makeup remover, the Respectissime waterproof eye makeup remover. This is my favorite eye makeup remover. I've been talking about it for years, and it's the one I go back to time and time again. It never irritates my eyes. It doesn't give me that weird, greasy, cloudy vision. It's great. So this is what I'm back to, and I really, really love it. In terms of eye care, I used up an eye serum and eye cream. This was the Chantecaille Rose de Mai Eye Lift, a very lightweight gel, and it had this beautiful cooling applicator. Did I notice a miraculous lift No, but it had a beautiful, refreshing texture, and I really did enjoy using it. It felt really nice and cooling in the morning. And the Caudalie Resveratrol Lift Firming Eye Gel Cream, I really, really loved this. The texture was perfect. Also really liked the packaging. And it just did a great job at keeping my under eye area, again, feeling really, really nourished, hydrated, plump, and firm without being greasy. I don't like thick, heavy, oily eye creams at all. I'm very picky about eye cream textures, but I also need that moisture. I need that hydration, but it has to be lightweight. The eye care products that I'm using right now, we have the Bioeffect EGF Eye Serum. I just talked about this in my recent favorites video. This is a repurchase. I was using this religiously for about 2 years, then I stopped and I missed having it in my routine. So once I used up the Chantecaille, I repurchased this, and this really does make a difference in terms of firmness and crepiness and tightening, especially the upper eyelid area. I notice a difference when I use this. Maybe a solid 4 weeks of regular use to start noticing the benefits. For me, this is fantastic. So I'm really, really glad to have this in my routine again. And then for eye cream, I received this in PR from Tata Harper. I'm using the Tata Harper Restorative Eye Cream Intensive Age Defense. Beautiful texture. This is also a refillable product, which is really nice. You can just get a little cartridge afterwards. And the texture is also really beautiful. It's actually a very similar texture to the Caudalie. Maybe a hint more moisturizing, a hint more emollient. I can't say I'm noticing any remarkable differences yet, but maybe this is kind of boosting the effect of the Bioeffect. I don't know. Nonetheless, I'm really, really happy with this eye combination. In terms of serums, I used up 2 serums that are geared towards antioxidant protection and fading of pigmentation. We have the Hyper Skin Hyper Even Brightening Dark Spot Vitamin C Serum. I really enjoyed this. It gives you antioxidant protection, and that also contains brightening ingredients. If you're somebody that is usually sensitive to straight up L-ascorbic acid vitamin C serums, I tend to get irritated from those types of serums. They have this brand at Sephora now in the United States, which is cool. Contains turmeric, kojic acid, apple enzymes, bearberry hyaluronic acid. This was just a really great one and done serum. Gives you a bit of hydration, antioxidant protection, helps fade pigmentation. My pigmentation is very, very stubborn, and I need some extra help as well. So I got this from an esthetician. She really recommended this. These are the DMK Melanotech Drops. This brand kind of reminds me of Biologique Recherche in that you can only really get it through a like a licensed esthetician. You can just go on their website, put in your zip code, and they will populate all the estheticians in your area that carry this. This was very nice. It was a very liquidy texture, super lightweight, easy to absorb. It smelled really bad. I used to work at an auto repair shop when I was in high school, so those scents have a very strong, they give me a lot of memories. I basically feel like I'm behind the counter at Canadian Tire when I smell this. And if you're Canadian, you will know what I'm talking about. It has the Canadian Tire auto wall vibe. When I break out and the pimple just starts to heal, those marks that are left behind can take weeks and weeks and weeks to fade on my skin, and this really helps speed that up. But I haven't noticed any change in my existing older pigmentation and sun damage. So this was great for like newer, fresher pigmentation, but not so efficient at the older stuff. In terms of the serum, the new serum that I'm using right now, I received this in PR from a new brand called Mother Science, and this is their Molecular Hero Serum. And they claim that this has 10 times the power of vitamin C. They have this patented brightening ingredient in there, a breakthrough ingredient called malacezin. This serum helps dramatically reduce the appearance of dark spots, lines, and wrinkles. This also contains niacinamide, and I really, 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 really love this. This has an incredible texture. It plays so well with everything else that I'm using. It's just like a lightweight, creamy gel, really, really silky. There's no scent to it whatsoever. It layers beautifully in my morning routine, in my evening routine. I use this morning and night. I'm really happy with my skin at the moment. And while these were also fantastic and they did deliver results, I can't say that I miss having these in my routine. I prefer this because this, I feel like this accomplishes the task that both of these did together, but in an even better, more delightful texture and packaging. So I'm really happy with this so far. And it's a small brand. This is the only product that they came out with right now. They have some really impressive results on their website. Next, when it comes to sunscreen, two of them are mineral sunscreens. We have the Bloomeffect Tulip Dew Vitamins and Minerals SPF 50, and then the Odacite SPF 50 Mineral Drops with niacinamide and green tea. This was tinted, this was white. I enjoyed both. Out of the two, I would say the Bloomeffect was a bit nicer. It felt a bit more cosmetically elegant, gave a nice dewy finish. I think if you're somebody with drier skin and you want a nice mineral sunscreen, this would be a nice one to try. This was just fine. Like, it was, you know, I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it. I wouldn't really go out of my way to recommend it or repurchase. This was the Chantecaille Ultra Sun Protection Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 45 SPF Primer. This was super gorgeous, really silky, like a dewy hydrating primer with SPF 45. Loved this, but the price tag is so high, and sunscreen is something that you go through quite quickly because you need to use a certain amount of sunscreen in order to get the adequate protection. This is like a very bougie sunscreen if you want a treat yourself sunscreen to use under makeup. This was great, but I would only repurchase this on sales. Chantecaille does sales a couple times a year. They do 25% off. That's a great time to get this, especially when there are products like the sunscreen I'll be showing you next that do a very similar thing at literally a fraction of the cost, namely the sunscreen that stole my heart. I also talked about this in my favorites video, the Skin 1004 Madagascar Centella Hyaluronica Water Fit Sun Serum SPF 50. This is what the box looks like. It's really pretty. This is a Korean sunscreen. This is what the packaging looks like. It's a beautiful tube with a pump. This is what I'm using right now. Absolutely love it. When it comes to moisturizer, I have about a year's worth of moisturizer empties, and that's how it goes with me in these videos. Sometimes I like to wait until I finish multiples of the same type of product so that I can kind of compare and contrast between them when I talk about them. So yeah, I have 7 moisturizers. Let's start with last summer's moisturizers. Last summer, I used the Chantecaille Anti-Pollution Mattifying Cream. This was like a daytime mattifying moisturizer that I loved to use in the summertime because it gave me moisture and hydration, but it had a matte finish, which is something that is kind of hard to come by in a moisturizer. Also used up the Youth to the People Polypeptide 121 Future Cream. This definitely felt more rich. This is something that I could use during the day in like the spring and the fall, but in the summertime, definitely more of a night cream. Really beautiful dewy finish, lightweight kind of gel texture, but still kind of felt quite hefty on the skin. The Replenix Anti-Aging Age Restore Brightening Moisturizer. Again, it had a beautiful texture. It felt nourishing. It also was loaded with active ingredients, but it wasn't heavy or greasy at all. So it's a great moisturizing option if you're somebody that has more oily skin and if you're somebody that deals with hyperpigmentation, because this contains ingredients to help combat that. So I did really enjoy this, and I would consider buying this again. I actually like this a lot. Next, we have the Stradia Liquid Gold, a lightweight skin strengthening moisturizer. I use this mainly in the winter as like a daytime moisturizer, and loved this. This is similar to the Youth to the People Polypeptide Cream in texture, but better, in my opinion. I like the packaging better, and it's not quite, I don't know, it just sank into the skin easier. My skin seemed to, I don't know, my skin liked this better than this. Would recommend it. If you are very, very dry, I know some people with very dry skin that use this as a serum instead. So they almost use this as a moisturizing serum, and then they add a thicker, more occlusive moisturizer on top to really seal in all the goodness. But yeah, big fan of this. This is really nice. And then we have Clarins Hydra Essential Moisturizers. This was the old version of the Hydra Essential Moisturizing Silky Cream. Just kind of like a great all-around day and night moisturizer. Silky cream is the best way to describe it. So this was like the old version, and then at the beginning of the year, they kind of revamped the line, and there's a new version of the cream. They're very, very, very similar. I have to say the one difference that I noticed is that the new version of the cream, which I also used up, I actually did a campaign with them for the launch of these creams, which is really great. The main difference from the old one, like between the old one and the new one that I noticed, is that the new one is more hydrating. It feels, it's almost like wet, more wet, whereas this was more silky, almost like a silky velvet finish on the skin. This gave more of that hydrated glow, which makes sense because the whole point of the rebrand and the update is that they added another hyaluronic acid complex to the formula to keep the skin hydrated for longer and to help prevent transepidermal water loss. This was the night cream in the same range. This definitely felt a bit thicker, a bit more occlusive, and this was wonderful in the wintertime in the evenings on top of my tretinoin to really just seal everything in. The moisturizer that I'm using right now is an old classic, an old favorite, SkinCeuticals Triple Lipid Restore. And I normally don't use this in the warmer months. I usually save this for fall, winter, but I had an old jar sitting in the back of my skincare drawer. I had purchased it on sale. Whenever I find SkinCeuticals on sale, I usually get one of these because this is one of my favorite moisturizers, and I just kind of get it and save it. It was just kind of getting old and I don't want it to expire, so I opened it and I'm going to use it. And yeah, it's too rich for me to use during the day, but I am enjoying it in the evening. This is one of my favorite moisturizers. The price point is insane, so I would only recommend getting it on sale, but I really, really love it. Moving on to makeup, I used up one of my favorite primers, the Exa Splash Zone Oil-Free Hydrating Primer. I loved this. I especially loved this with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I don't know what it is about this combination, but this just makes the Armani foundation wear so well on my skin. Hydrating primer, but it also helped kind of keep the oils balanced, and it was beautiful. I would definitely buy this again. Primer that I'm using right now that has a similar effect is the new Glow Recipe Strawberry BHA Pore Smooth Blur Drops. And this is a multi-purpose product. You can use this as a skincare product, as like a BHA serum. You can also use this as a makeup primer. So right before makeup, you put this on, you know, in the T-zone to help blur the pores and to help with oil control, or you can mix this in to your foundation, which is exciting. That's something that I haven't tried yet. I don't know why I'm kind of scared to do that, but this is a silicone-free primer. So it doesn't have that like typical silicone slip at all. It literally just feels like a lightweight lotion. Very, very silky, very cosmetically elegant. It kind of sinks into the skin really easily. And you, as it sets, as it dries down, you definitely notice the skin feeling smoother, the pores appearing a bit more refined, and the shine is under control. It contains tapioca starch, which apparently sucks up all the oil. I'd say this is more efficient at oil control than the Exa, but the Exa, I don't know, this underneath the Armani Luminous Silk isn't as good as the Exa was. If you are sensitive to salicylic acid, you know, you might want to be careful with this, because I noticed that if I'm using this like 3 days in a row, my skin can get a bit like sensitized. Obviously, everybody's skin is different. Everybody's skin can tolerate certain ingredients at different levels, but with my skin, when I'm using tretinoin every single night, I can only do acid products, whether it's an AHA or a BHA product, like max 2-3 times a week. I finally used up the NARS creamy concealer that I had. It was nice, a classic. In the most recent Sephora sale, I ended up buying the Coffee Main Match Concealer in the shade Cocoa Crush. I really like this. This is similar to the NARS in that it is very creamy. It has a very solid medium coverage, but better. This is even more creamy, and especially if you found the NARS a bit too drying, you will really like this because this is more emollient and it just looks great. I use this when I want a more flawless look, if I'm using like a medium coverage foundation and I want a nice like medium coverage under the eyes. This is beautiful. I can use this all over the face and under my eyes. I don't love a super bright under eye area, but like it's a nice, warm, slightly peachy shade. It just melts into the skin effortlessly. The next two are empties / disappointments. I received these in PR from Lancome, and they are the Lancome Idole Ultra Precise Waterproof Liner. They had launched it in a bunch of different colors. The colors are so beautiful. The pigment is really nice and intense, matte finish, has a felt tip applicator, but these dried out so quickly. I barely got a month out of each, and I'm not somebody that uses a colorful liquid liner every single day, so I can't even say that I got a ton of use out of it. After a month, as this dried down, it was so hard to use. It stopped flowing evenly, it just skipped, and it was challenging to use, so kind of a miss for me. For lip products, I finally used up my last standing Burberry lip contour. This is in the shade medium, and I mean, there's nothing. It was essentially a lip liner, but in like a chubby crayon form. Imagine a Laura Mercier caviar stick, but a lip liner. So that's essentially what it was like, and it was great for adding that contour to the lips. I bought 2 new lip liners instead because beauty math. Dior Brown Fig. I talked about this in my favorites video. I also showed this on with 3 different peachy pink nude lips in one of my most recent YouTube shorts. If you want to check it out, I also posted it on Instagram. This is an incredible lip liner. Has a slight cool taupe element to it. Super creamy, long wearing, easy to use. And then I also bought a Chanel lip liner. This had been on my wish list for a long time. The shade 162 Nude Brune. This is a really beautiful long wearing lip liner formula. Also, I have a type, okay? Very similar to the Dior. This is actually the lip liner that I'm wearing today. But I have to say, if I had to choose just one between these two, I would choose the Dior Brown Fig. Love both, but if I had to choose just one, Brown Fig feels a little bit more special. Let me swatch my other favorite lip liner, Victoria Beckham 02. Lip liners are just so funny because they all kind of look the same. So this is the Dior Brown Fig. This is the Chanel Nude Brune, and this is the Victoria Beckham 02. So the Victoria Beckham is warmer. It's similar to the Dior, but it's a bit warmer. The Dior has that taupey element to it. The Chanel is just an everyday great, like warm brown lip liner. And let me swatch Makeup Forever Anywhere Caffeine. It looks the same, okay? I have a problem. I have a type. I guess the Makeup Forever Anywhere Caffeine is a little bit, it's like if you mix the Victoria Beckham and the Dior, then you get the Makeup Forever Anywhere Caffeine. But the formulas are different. In terms of formula, the Dior Brown Fig wins, in my humble opinion. It just has that edge. If you have one of these, you can certainly accomplish the exact same effect. But if you are sick in the head like me, lip liners, it's one of the items that I don't mind owning so many of because it's something that I go through regularly. I use lip liner every single day. So I'm just topping up my Chanel lip liner. This is really pretty. It's nice and warm. It's a nice summer brown lip liner. And finally, let's talk lip gloss. I have 2 lip gloss empties. Very excited because one of them was in my project pan. This was the Lisa Eldridge Affair. Beautiful formula, really nice and moisturizing, really good amount of pigment. It was hard to scrape out. It's not my favorite lip gloss formula. It's not something that I would run and revisit, but it was really nice and I did really enjoy it. I also used up my Clarins Raspberry Lip Oil. This was delightful, just something that lived in my purse and I would just reapply throughout the day. Really nice and moisturizing, super sheer pink, a juicy fruity scent. Some of the shades also have like that pH adjuster in it, so some of the shades in this range leave a bit of a pink stain behind, but this particular shade did not have that. The way that the bottle is designed and the way the chubby applicator falls right at the bottom, you can get every single last drop of oil. The oil kind of all moves down, whereas with the Lisa Eldridge gloss, you can see here like a lot of it is just kind of stuck on the walls. It's like a stiffer gloss formula. It doesn't flow to the bottom, and the applicator is almost like too short, so it can't reach all of it. I did treat myself to a new lip gloss on this occasion, and I think this was also in my monthly favorites video that I did, but I bought the Chanel Rouge Coco Gloss in shade 722 Noche Moscata, and this is what it looks like. It is just the perfect everyday nude gloss. It's sheer, it's got a little bit of shimmer running through it. It just adds the most delightful dimension to the lips. It's very moisturizing, it's very comfortable, has like a very faint rose scent, but it's not overbearing, it's not overpowering, and you don't smell it throughout the day. This with the lip liner is such a good combo. I think I did a YouTube short and Instagram reel on this lip combination alone as well too. If you want to see them in action more close up, you want to check that out. The last new product I wanted to share, I don't have an empty to show against it, but this is an exciting new product nonetheless, is the new Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Blush Veil. Is that what it's called? Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veil. I got this in shade Perfect Pink. I'm not wearing it today because it's a bit too much. I've got like shiny lips, shiny eyelids. I don't want shiny cheeks. This is quite dewy, but I love this so much. Initially, when I went to Sephora, I wanted the other shade that they had. The, I think it's called like Pinch of Pink or something, the warmer, lighter colored pink, but they didn't have that. They didn't have any testers of it and they didn't have any in stock. So instead I swatched this and I was just very enamored by it. This is like the most beautiful cool toned pink and I'm just really loving pink blush at the moment. I think ever since I colored my hair darker, I'm less into the orangey peachy tones on me and I'm more attracted to pinks. I like the way pink blush looks on me, but more now. And this color is perfect. It's called Perfect Pink. It really is a perfect pink. It has the most gorgeous dewy finish. This is the type of blush formula that looks best on minimal base. So if I'm just doing a skin tint, a tinted moisturizer, very minimal coverage, and then this and like the skin enhancer bronzer, such a gorgeous healthy skin type of look. I don't love using this type of blush if I'm wearing like a more fuller coverage matte foundation because it can lift some of that coverage. It can disturb it underneath since this is so balmy. And even though it's such a dewy product and I have skin that is more on the oily side, I never find that this makes me more oily throughout the day. Obviously, you know, most of my oil production happens on the center of my face. My cheeks stay pretty normal. So it just looks really beautiful and glowing, and I actually get very decent wear time out of this. This lasts better on my cheeks than the Merit blush. They are very similar. So if you like the Merit blush formula, the Makeup by Mario has a very similar finish and very similar like lightweight, dewy, buildable quality to it. But this, I think the texture is even better. It's ever so slightly smoother, ever so slightly easier to build up, and this lasts longer on my cheeks. That's about it for me. I feel like this is a long one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Let me know what you've been buying lately. Did you get anything new that really excites you? Did you finish something up that took you a long time? We'll chat about it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.